All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. One of the great things about Metro Transit, and especially about the bus rapid transit lines, is that they run reliably and on time, and we want to model that here today. So we're going to kick this right off, and now that the mayor and the council members are here, welcome to everybody, and thank you for coming on this beautiful afternoon. My name is Will Schroeer. I'm the executive director of East Metro Strong. We are a public-private partnership of Ramsey and Washington counties, 6 cities in the East Metro, 3M, Health East, and the St. Paul Area Chamber of Commerce that represents more than 1,000 other employers. And we're delighted to welcome everybody here this afternoon to talk about the importance of the B line bus rapid transit to businesses, residents of St. Paul, and all the visitors that we welcome to this great city every day. Bus rapid transit is like a lot of things in the Twin Cities. It works really well. Other regions are coming to look at how we do it, and it suffers a little bit from a little bit of Minnesota modesty. So my big goal here today is to talk more about bus rapid transit, talk about the A line and its success, and then use that to encourage everybody to welcome the B line to St. Paul, and as a collateral, perhaps, maybe some of the buzz will get back to the Capitol, and legislators will be encouraged to fund the build out of the bus rapid transit system, including the B line in the cities. Last year I did some man and woman on the street interviews on the A line, and took a camera crew and completely unannounced to anybody just went and talked to people getting on the A line at some of the different stops going up and down Snelling. And to a person, they unprompted raved about how fast it was, how convenient it was, how clean it was, and honestly how it had changed their lives for the better. By getting them to work, by letting them move around the city. I talked to a couple that were going shopping at the Whole Foods. That's how they went shopping. These are investments that affect everybody for the better. And to talk about that today, we're going to hear from Doug Baker, CEO of our host here at Ecolab, and I thank him for hosting us, and Mayor Carter, mayor of this fantastic city. And I'm going to let them speak to the benefits of the B line mostly themselves. And to introduce them, I first want to introduce Joe Spencer, head of the St. Paul Downtown Alliance, who has been doing so much work to make St. Paul a great destination, and I think he's going to talk about how he wants more people to come down and enjoy all those amenities, right, Joe?
Indeed.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Will, and I'll be brief, but I just wanted to be here on behalf of the downtown. This St. Paul Downtown Alliance came together only last summer, and it's a group of our business and corporate leaders that got together along with our public sector leaders and said we need to work together to really grow more vitality and more jobs in downtown St. Paul. Now, as we look around the region and we look at the metrics that are around, we've actually suggested that while our downtown population has doubled over the last 8 years, that's fantastic growth. We're seeing a ton of investments all over downtown, but there's actually room to see another 20,000 residents come into downtown, and another 20 to 30,000 employees and workers come into downtown St. Paul. Now, as we work to achieve that kind of growth together, we need an infrastructure that's going to support that growth. And the B line is really critically important to that, and especially a B line that comes all the way into downtown St. Paul to serve all the needs that we have and all the new people that we think are going to come downtown. And so I just want to thank all of our partners here today and Metro Transit for bringing us together and to push this project forward. And it's my pleasure to introduce one of the founders of the St. Paul Downtown Alliance, the CEO of Ecolab, Doug Baker.
Well, welcome to Ecolab on a sunny day. We call today spring. Tomorrow we'll call it a day past spring. So, look, we've obviously made a big commitment to downtown St. Paul, and we are a company that was formed in 1923 here. We have footprints all over the city as we've developed. We were fortunate to find a way to craft a deal to move from our old headquarters here, and we really did it by work with Travelers. And the great part of that deal was Travelers kept all their employees downtown, and we were also able then to move the 370 building, our historic headquarters, into great hands, and now you find it to be an entrepreneurial hub doing very well, where we've also brought Techstars, investments we've made, and so we couldn't be more excited. We're also excited about the alliance. We're excited to have a mayor, Rebecca, city that wants to move forward, wants to improve, wants to figure out how do we do this as a community, and we want to be engaged at all those levels. So talking about downtown, clearly as we look at how do we take care of our employees, transit is hugely important. And it's hard to build these transit systems, so I've been an early advocate for light rail, understanding it's a long journey before you have really a workable light rail system that can serve the community's needs, because you end up with these little spokes, no hub, and it takes a while. But we say it's best to make that investment. If you're wrong, you blow a few bucks. If you don't do it and you're wrong, you have an impaired metro area. And we really think that this transit issue is a huge issue. Many of us, I have children in their 20s, none of them want a car. They don't own cars. I mean, that's not where they are anymore. And so it's changed dramatically. They want transit. So do our employees. The other employers here talked about, I think service is decent downtown. It's not an impairment, but adding and enhancing it is a very smart move. And we like this type of move. And we think this B-line makes a lot of sense. The 3-to-1 return on investment to transit makes a lot of sense. But building out this system is going to be very important for us. Now the B-line will replace Route 21. I actually happen to know Route 21 from early days. I grew up in Minneapolis, over near Uptown and the lakes, and Route 21 is what connects that part of the city to this downtown area. It's slow, and it's not really going to work. We have a lot of our people that work here live in Uptown. They also live in Lower Town. They live all over the metro. So typically when we recruit people to work here, they view, especially if they're moving from outside the Minnesota area, they view this as a city collective, the regional area. And they are looking at, we work down here, we like it, we are going to look where we live and determine that however we do. We need to be able to move around this metro area. They do not see borders between Minneapolis, St. Paul, Bloomington, and all the other borders. Just not how they think. And so we do need the ability to move people around the cities and to do it successfully. And when we look at this B-line investment, we think it's a very smart investment. Uses existing infrastructure, uses some technology, and it speeds up transit greatly. And if you look at dollar invested, it's a very smart move. And I'm still for light rail. Okay? I don't think these are either or. I think they are ands, and we should continue to push on this. And so with that, I'd like to bring up Mayor Carter, who's been, I think, a great partner for the city, a great voice for moving forward and building coalitions. And so come on up and welcome to Ecolab.
Doug, I want to thank you. I want to thank all the partners who are here. Certainly have to acknowledge Councilmember Ward 2, Councilmember Rebecca Naker, who's here. Thank you for your leadership. Also Ward 4, Councilmember Mitra Jalali Nelson. It's great to see you here as well. I appreciate all of your leadership and support on these types of issues, as well as my former colleague on the City Council, who now serves as the city's Chief Resilience Officer, Russ Stark. Thank you as well for all that I've been able to learn and benefit working with you on this. Joe, great to see you. Thank you so much. I just appreciate everybody being here. You know, we talk a lot about what it takes to build a city that really works for all of us, a community where we can connect people to prosperity, a community where we can ensure that our businesses, our thriving businesses, whether those are our big businesses downtown or our small businesses throughout our city, can connect to the talent, to the workforce, and to the employees that they need to be able to kind of move forward and be competitive across the globe. We know that there are many of things that those things require, and that's why we're doing the work that we're doing here in St. Paul right now. I appreciate the opportunity to join in St. Paul with a really strong partnership across kind of our advocacy community, our public sector, and certainly our strong private sector partners to say we need the community that we're building, the city that we're building, the future of our community requires a robust, well-funded transit system to ensure that we are connecting people to prosperity. I remember those days, Doug, that you mentioned on the 21A. I was a rider actually on my first job downtown. I was living along Selby and working downtown, and got on the 21A every morning and had community and transportation and opportunity to connect with people in a meaningful way. We're at a critical moment in our city. Our city is growing, our city is transforming, our city is thriving. And as we continue down this path of saying, how do we refit St. Paul to be a place where we can thrive with the thousands more people who are choosing St. Paul every single year, that requires us to rethink how people get around our community. It requires us to rethink how we house people in our community. It requires us to think, to be willing to rethink a lot of the things that we may have taken for granted or thought about a different way at a different point in time. And the Beeline Bus Rapid Transit is one of these amazing opportunities that we have in front of us that will help our city transform, be more resilient, more sustainable, and more interconnected in our community. It'll benefit both the residents who call our city home, workers who are employed in St. Paul, and businesses including world leaders like Ecolab who support our local economy. Thank you for hosting us here today, Doug. High-quality transit is an important part of making sure everyone in our community can get where they need to go. It's how we connect our children to educational opportunities. It's how we connect our families to business opportunities. It's how we connect people, our residents, to amenities of an entire region and not just the neighborhood that they live in. And we know that transit works and impacts our community for the better. The A line from Roseville through St. Paul has seen a 30% increase in ridership, connecting even more people to community. We saw it when we opened the Green Line, that same type of boost. When we were first arguing for the Green Line, I was at a conference and I heard someone say that transit is sort of like having the first fax machine, that if you have one of them, it's cool to show your visitors, but it gets a whole lot more useful as you build out the network. That reference becomes dated as fax machines. Find a new metaphor there. We want that same kind of high quality transit that we've provided on the A line, that we've provided on the Green Line. We want that same kind of high quality transit to connect even more people in our community to opportunity. That's why the B line is so critical for us. I want to thank you all again for the opportunity to join you here, and I look forward to being all of your teammate in the work ahead to make this happen. With that said, I'd love to introduce and welcome another critical teammate of ours who I've spent a lot of time with this week in 2 or 3 ribbon cuttings just this week that showcase the momentum that we're experiencing in our city right now, and that is our St. Paul Area Chamber of Commerce President, B. Kyle.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy days to be here. Indeed, the importance of the B line running all the way through into downtown is important to all of us, important to senior leaders in the business community and CEOs alike, as demonstrated by the participation here today. These are busy people who believe, as do we, in the importance of fast and efficient transit, because as we know, with improved transit comes economic development growth. And we're investing in that, and we're planning on that, and we're so here to support the whole idea about bringing B-Line all the way downtown. I think the one message I'd like to point out is the importance of government and business working together. As the government invests in the infrastructure so necessary for our own growth and economic development, so can we then as employers bring in more workers, grow our own businesses, and ultimately build new buildings and create new enterprises along those same lines. So although I'm sorry the line wasn't ultimately named after me, I still look forward to it running downtown, and please, if you'd like to come, let's take a tour of the line. Thanks for joining us today.